The word values is used a lot, but what can that word truly mean? We see that a similar word that could be helpful to understand what it might mean would be valuable. Something is valuable. How do we use the term valuable? Gas is valuable for me vis-a-vis the objective of driving. Food is valuable for me concerning the end of eating. Money is valuable for me uh, concerning objectives to secure that which money can secure, such as food, such as gas, and so forth. The next question that could be asked would be valuable for whom? Right? And something is valuable for who is it valuable? And what about that who makes something valuable? We see that that which is valuable to a given creature depends on what the creature is. So, for instance, what is valuable for a goldfish is water, is some goldfish food, whatever that is. And that's about it. If we were to try to offer the goldfish something else, such as reading it poetry, that would not be valuable for the goldfish. Maybe somebody would say the goldfish would still be slightly stimulated by that, but as far as we can tell in any meaningful way, that would have zero value for the goldfish. The goldfish cannot understand the poetry, and it means nothing to it. If we move to a more advanced type of creature, such as a monkey, there's more complicated things that have value, that are valuable for the monkey, such as other monkeys to play with as the baby monkey, such as the social dynamics or hierarchy, such as trees and food and all kinds of things. Right, now, moving on to ourselves, then, we say that what is valuable for us depends on who we are and where we are in our development. What is valuable, for instance, for an infant are some of the simple things that an infant needs. For instance, to be fed, to be held, to be soothed, and such. At a slightly later stage, uh, what is valuable then for, say, the toddler is a little bit more advanced. It is valuable for the toddler to be, for instance, read to, and even earlier than that, perhaps, to be extensively spoken with, for things to be explained. This word is for this object, and so on. Right? But the question then is, why is that? Right? Why do the values change? Why are things that are valuable for people different depending on the time or the point in their development that they are? In here, um, we would seem to be led to the conclusion that each creature strives and must necessarily strive to realize the good available to it. And the good that is available to it is predicated on the creature fulfilling its potentialities, meaning the maximum good that is available for a goldfish is predicated on the goldfish being in water and having a little bit of goldfish food as needed. The maximum good that is available to a monkey hangs on the monkey uh, being around other monkeys and being in a nice environment and having food and such. But the maximum good then available to the human being, it appears to follow, is uh, reliant on the human being realizing his or her potentialities in the capacity of a human being. Right? Meaning, specifically, what makes me different as a human being than the monkey, than the piggy, than the goldfish, than the donkey, and so forth. Those differences, their realization, that would seem to be what the good that I can experience is predicated on. And without realizing those potentialities, I cannot experience the good that I could otherwise as a human being. So, thus far, what seems to be suggested is that what is valuable for each creature is that which potentiates its capacities. And for a human being to experience the maximum good that he or she can experience, the potentialities that are uniquely human, that distinguish human beings from other creatures, need to be realized. Now, there's some different paths here that could be followed. One would be to say, first of all, then, that that which is valuable is what aids in that potentiation. And then values would be those things, that aid us in becoming all that we can be. But what are those things? There are certainly values uh, such as common sense, right? You know, get some kind of education, be raised with a little bit of, excuse me, a little bit of warmth and affection, that kind of thing. But we don't tend to say those are the ultimate values. Those are the highest values. Those are kind of necessary but insufficient things. Obviously, little food, being taught how to speak, uh, that kind of thing. What are typically or oftentimes taken as values are designated by terms such as truth, such as goodness, such as beauty, such as charity, such as love, and such. Why would that be? How are those things valuable for us? Well, it would seem that uh, one thing that distinguishes the human being from other instances of life would be the innate kind of, say, sentience or mind that we have, right? Meaning we have the potential, it seems, for something like self-conscious or self-consciousness, rather. We have, it seems, an innately rational sort of consciousness, to so say, such that makes it impossible to truly stamp out any signs of our humanhood, irrespective of how little development we sustain. What that means, concretely speaking, is that if, say, a bonobo, a chimp, right, some other type of critter, is taken and given good physical circumstances and is given some buddies to play with, that's it. There's no reason to suspect that on any level whatsoever, that other animal will think something is wrong, something is missing, something is off. I'm just reaching for some kind of good that I don't have. It's never going to happen, as far as it certainly seems. With a human being, however, if we miss our developmental shot, for example, we're deprived of an opportunity for proper education and formation, we do not have sufficient character, we will feel that something is wrong. We don't know what exactly, we may not be able to formulate it. There's obviously crazy situations where tragically children are raised without the ability to speak in a dark room, something like this, but still, we hold that all human beings have this rational sort of consciousness, this shade of self-consciousness, such that is innately different than other animals, and such that would make an insufficient individuality a problem, right? Again, unlike with the other animals. Now, with that said, then what would be valuable would seem to be that which can contribute to the formation of a mind, of a character that can enable us to secure the good that we are able to secure. And what that formation and character appears to be absolutely dependent on would be the willingness, right, to kind of transcend our animality, to sacrifice ourself in the capacity of creature, right, and to kind of move away from being completely particular, being a purely particular phenomenon, kind of a spatial, temporal, organic appearance, to move away from that and in the direction of universality, in the direction of objectivity, in the direction of, say, equanimity concerning our conception of ourself as an individual and other individuals, meaning where I'm not saying I'm special just because I'm me, right? I go to the front of the line each time just because I'm me and you suckers are not me. No, where I see all equally, myself included. We're all on a level playing field. I'm moving in that direction of universality. So that would seem to be the highest uh, end of character, because that's the only kind of character that can secure our beatitude, can secure our share of goodness. Put very simply, I remain selfish and self-centered. I can have the best education and I can know all of the facts and whatever else I like, I will still not be able to experience the good that a human being is able to experience. The whole premise of human development, of human education, appears to be that, uh, so to say, transcendence of self in that creaturely capacity, that sort of death to self, as it can be at least a little bit poetically put. So we need then a value that would permit that, right? And that value cannot be something debased and vulgar, such as money, right? My highest value is money. My highest value is comfort. My highest value is pleasure. That's certainly not going to fly. But it also won't fly, it seems, to make my highest value my own happiness, my own good. My highest value is for me to be personally happy. Now, my personal happiness is predicated on my present sense of self eventually uh, widening to an unrecognizable point. And consequently, I cannot put the cart before the horse and say that I, as I currently conceive myself, want to be happy. That's not going to work. So, what then is a highest value for the human being? It would seem to be some idea, some intimation, some notion of uh, unconditioned, say, reality, such as is absolutely over and above myself, my egoism, my self centeredness, my selfishness, such to which I owe absolute allegiance to, and such which demands the sacrifice of what I take to be myself at present. It would seem that having some such intimation, some such idea, supposing I move toward it, is what is needed to secure the happiness, the goodness that a human being is able to experience. Should we say the highest good and the highest happiness that a human being can experience? And so it seems, it seems to follow that that idea is the highest value that there is. And all other values have value insofar as they point to. They're like arrows pointing to that highest value, the summum bonum, so to speak, the highest good. Excuse me. As long as I have some such conception, I can proceed down the path of progress and perfection, increasing as it happens in happiness and in goodness. But without such a conception, there's no shot. I'm simply stuck in the circle of self as I try to procure my personal happiness, right? And in the process, degrade myself, in the process, become more self centered and wrapped up in myself. That never works. I need something outside of myself. I need an absolute goal or good, which is beyond me, that I can move toward. So, anyhow, the idea then would be that values uh, refer to that which is valuable. Many things are valuable to some or another extent. But the most valuable thing is that which can most secure the happiness and goodness of a given creature. For a creature such as is the human being or the Homo sapien, that highest good is self sacrifice, meaning the sacrifice of the lower animal life for in favor of a higher, better, happier existence. The only way, however, to attain to that higher, happier life is not to seek it for its own sake. I will be happy. I will be aligned with the stars and the flowers, and we can't do that. We need to seek that which is over and above us and that which calls for sacrifice for its own sake. We need to seek the highest good for its own sake. Having some such notion, even very slight, that then would be the highest value because the most valuable thing, so to say, to a creature such as are we. Thank you for listening.